It's been a minute. My apologies. Today I have a video. We're going to be going over, if I can get them, our bins that we have put together with all the boys' stuff in it from their 3rd grade year. So if that's interesting to you, as well as kind of a brief overview of all we did and if we finished it and all that, stay tuned. Hello, welcome back to Rose Menagerie. It's been a hot minute since I've been here. A lot of life has happened between moving, trips, health, all the things. But today I do have a potentially quick video to share with you guys how I like to store the boys' stuff whenever they finish their school year. This bin I got from Michael's, which, funny story, where we moved to doesn't have a Michael's. So whenever I was on a trip, I was lucky enough that Michael's was having a sale on them when I was going through the town. So I think I got them for like $10 each. They have smaller ones that I've used for other years as well. But as the years keep going on and we keep doing more and more, these larger boxes are what we've been using to store everything. And then I make little labels for them. I will do a little picture right here so you can see what they look like as you hear my cat trying to get in the room. You come in? You can come in? No? Okay, bye. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna go over what's inside of these bins and yeah. So come on, kitty. Come on. You coming in? You coming in? Are you coming? Come on. Come on, girl. You coming in all the way? Come on. There we go. There she is. You gonna help me? We're gonna get into the mess. I'm currently filming in our office. It is not set up. There's still stuff everywhere. So yeah, this is just life right now. All right, so in these bins, I like to keep everything of importance from the year in my mind. I feel good doing this. I know that it can be overkill. I love to look back on these things and just see the progress that they've made. Not just with school, but there's other things like yearbooks and scrapbooks and things like that. I just really enjoy doing those things. So that's kind of where the idea for this came. But you can use anything you would like. You don't have to use a bin. This is what I've chosen to do just because it's just in my brain. It makes sense to do it like this. And they just stack on top of each other really nicely. All right, so first thing we have in here is they have a certificate for finishing the reading challenge that we did with our local co-op. Their last test from their wordly wise curriculums, a vocabulary curriculum. They made booklets over the solar system. And then there's some random things that they had made with their co-op that we threw in here. That's what this guy is, and this guy. It's now attached to this somehow. All right. And then this was their final for science. I had envisioned this being more complex than what it was, but they took an animal and they basically researched it and did little foldables on it, and then they compared and contrasted each other's animals. So it was meant to be a whole like term thing that should take them a long time. And like I said, with the move and things, life kind of just happened. And so it ended up being like a week instead of, 4. It's okay. All of their folders from all of our read alouds this year, we read through The Wizard of Oz. The first, I don't remember how many, we read from The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, which is number 1, all the way to The Royal Book of Oz, which is actually the first book of the series that is not written by the original author. it went through a couple different authors over time. So we read through all of his original works as well as the very first one of the newest author. We also have in here their science journal. It got nice and chunky. There's tabs for each term. We really enjoyed these. It started off, we were gonna do Magic School Bus as our theme. And I was gonna incorporate stickers, all that fun stuff. That part kind of didn't happen. But we did do like Magic School Bus videos and did like the worksheets I found on Teachers Pay Teachers for that. I did a lot of journal things that I found on Teachers Pay Teachers to kind of extend whatever it was we were learning about. And then we would do tests on what we were learning. And in fact, I have a little pocket here on the back. That is where we would put the tests at once they were graded and done and all that. But just to kind of give you an idea, it was like folded. So just a sheet of paper folded. And then, you know, here, it's kind of, I just made it from their journal. And then I would require them to write down the page number their answer came from. And so it wasn't necessarily like, it was a content test, but the test was more for them to practice journal skills and researching, that kind of thing. So, all right, so that's their science. Next we have social studies. So social studies ended up having to be 2 journals. They're also tabbed. We used the Tuttle Twins, volume 1 and 2, and just did the activities that came along with that. I picked and choose different things. And actually they just announced that there's a 3rd one coming out, so that's exciting. Not sure when we're gonna do that one, but something to look forward to. Their reader response is in here. So this one, I assigned them a reading, 2 readings a term, and the way it originally started was that I had bought these questions and then they answered them, and they were just meant to be questions that were just generic that I could mix and match. Did not end up enjoying that. So then we went to a system where I would look up questions or just make my own questions while I was reading it alongside them. And the whole point of this is meant to be for understanding. Cat, she's about to knock over my drink. And yeah, so that's that. And then we also kept track of how many words we read. So this is between our Oz read alouds and our reading response. They read over almost 1.5 million words. Over 1.5 million words. So that's exciting. Latina Cristiana. We did not finish this. I think we got to like lesson 20 or 21. I did not do a very good job of focusing on memorization this year. And again, we were in the middle of moving. It was turning into more of a hassle than an actual learning opportunity. And so we paused. We are going to be doing this exact same curriculum next year. And so I'm fine with us not finishing it because we're just going to get a fresh start next year, which I think will be good for us. Wordly wise, I've really enjoyed this curriculum this year. This is our first time to use it. We're going to be doing the 4th grade version next year. I just trimmed her nails and she's still scratching me. This curriculum is, you have, okay, so each term or each section has a word list. So for example, there's like number 7 right there. And I think they have 10 words. And then there are 5 activities that you can do with those words. And the activities change from section to section with the only one that doesn't change is the E, like the final one. And it's going to be, they read a passage and then they answer the questions. There's 10 questions and they have to use the vocabulary words in the questions. So this has been really good. If anything, just to have kind of more of the textbooky kind of practice cat. And for them just kind of get used to that. Because we did do a end of the year test. And I think just having those experiences is going to be good for them. I'm regretting having her in here. She's getting into everything. Man, can you stop it? Can you just be cute? Don't do that. we did Danielian handwriting, and we did go ahead and finish this. Next year we have handwriting, and I think that's going to be our last year to do something specific for handwriting. My goal was for us to start writing completely in cursive in the spring. It did not happen. Sometimes the boys would write in cursive for activities and things, but we are going to be transitioning to straight cursive in 4th grade. So that should be fun. And with that, I'm probably just going to do cursive on assignments, but like journaling or anything that's informal, I won't require the cursive, but just the things that are more of like the practice type stuff, I'm going to be doing that. And then I think this is the last thing in here, yeah. And the last thing I have in here is their math with confidence. Once you get to 3rd grade, it splits into 2 different books because there's just so much material in here. This curriculum has come under a lot of scrutiny lately. Some of it I don't necessarily agree with. Some of it I do. Basically, and it's kind of what I've understood or what I've heard is that like starting in 3rd grade is where you start kind of getting hiccups. And it's mainly with gaps in knowing their facts, which, yes, my boys, I have 2 9-year-olds, they're in 3rd grade, they're twins. The one is more mathematically minded, and so for him, he does not have his facts memorized with automaticity, but he does get them quickly. Like I said, he's more math minded. It's kind of like he plays games with numbers. He's my child. And then my other child is more artistic, and he is more like pragmatic, like he needs to see it kind of a thing, or at least talk about it. And so with him, the facts have come a little more with more difficulty. And so this summer we're going to be focusing on facts and getting those memorized. But that's been what the scrutiny's been with this curriculum. However, she does say in here to work on your facts. So him and haw all you want, but you still ultimately got to work on your facts, which I did not do a very good job of doing that this year. So that'll be our summer thing. And like I said, we did do a CLT was our test. I don't think I said the name of it, but CLT 3 is what we did. The boys did really well with it. I'm happy with how they're doing. I need to actually sit down and look more into their results in greater detail because we were away whenever I got the results, and I'm at the age now where working on a little bitty phone is not always the best. I need a computer. So that's actually on my list to work on today. But yeah, that is what happened. That's our 3rd grade year in a box. If you use something like this, I would love to hear what you do. I do have planned to go over in more detail what we liked and didn't like about each of these things, as well as what we're looking for 4th grade and how that's going to be. I have everything already planned and purchased. I just want to share with you guys what that is. Okay, this cat she just wants to be loved. Oh, see, you're a mess. You're a mess. Can you tell everybody goodbye? So we'll see you later. Bye. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.